David from Rotary Ricky here, and today we are finally going to start the process of putting the 13B Renesis engine back together. So we're going to go ahead and start with showing what we're going to put in the engine. Got a fresh new delivery from Atkins Rotary over in Washington, and we're going to open this up and see all the parts we bought. We've got our metal oil control ring, front and rear main seals, coolant seals and O-rings, all my side seal springs, corner seal springs, apex seal springs, all the gaskets you could ever need, Mazda OEM corner seals, and apex seals. We are gonna finally start to pack our rotors. So I have pretty much everything I need. I've got my oil control ring springs, oil control rings, some brand new ones, and oil control ring O-rings that go as well. So we'll do this part first. Then we'll move on to the corner seals, side seals, and then the apex seals get put in when we actually stack the engine. I've got the rest of all my parts from Atkins right here. All right, I've got some Vaseline here, just some petroleum jelly that we're gonna use to lubricate the O-rings so that nothing splits on me as I go to put them in the oil control rings. So just get some on your finger. We're gonna lube these up really nice. Good tip if you want a little bit more information about this, check out Rad Potential's YouTube. He's got a great video on how to pack your rotors, which I pretty much followed pretty closely. So if you need some help, he's a good guy to follow. All right, so the larger O-ring is gonna go on the larger oil control, the larger O-ring is going to go in the larger oil control ring. This O-ring seats on the inside actually, so we gotta kind of maneuver this along and kind of just wiggle it in there. I've been told this is kind of a pain to get everything seated because it wants to bounce around on you. Huh, there we go. That wasn't too bad. I think the internet lies to you sometimes. So there's one. Then we've got our smaller O-ring. Same thing, we're gonna lube this one up, and this goes on the outside of the smaller oil control ring. So we're gonna get this nice and lubed up. Nothing splits on me. So go ahead and thread this on the outside. Should just kind of pop right in. There we go, nice and easy. Cool, so we got that done. Rad Potential also recommends kind of putting a little bit of Vaseline kind of on the upper groove here, just to help make sure that the control rings slide in a little easier. So we're just gonna kind of lube that up nice and easy. All this Vaseline will burn off when we start up the engine the first time. So there'll be, you know, smoke and stuff from all this burning off, but that's totally normal, nothing to be concerned about. Okay, now our oil control springs. So there's 3 of them for each of the kind of the 3 spots they go in. And they are directional dependent on which rotor you're working on and whether you're working on the front part of that rotor or the rear part of that rotor. So right now I am working on my front rotor. I marked an F on it so I know that this is the front. And I'm starting with the front of the front rotor, which has the gear on it. So with the front side of the rotor, you want to hold the O-ring in your hand. If you hold it in your left hand, there's a little rounded edge and a straight edge. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that. I'll kind of show you. So the rounded edge should point down in your left hand for the front. If I was working on the rear, I have those over here. The rear rotor will have that round edge pointing down in your right hand. So the rear of a rotor, the round edge down in your right hand. So rear, right, RR, how to remember it. Left hand front, LF doesn't really work, but maybe let's fucking go, right? All right, so we're gonna take this is the small one. There's a little hole in the rotor that this round part will seat in. All right, and I'm just gonna kind of keep moving on. So I've got the Middle-sized one, this is gonna go, let's see, where's that? Perfect. And then the top one doesn't have a square end. It just has these little winged parts, and those are gonna go up around the kind of little lock nut that's in here. Let's see if I can show you without popping those out. Okay. So you're gonna take those, make sure the round, the edges are pointing up, okay? And we're just gonna pop that in. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and press in our oil control rings. So I'm gonna do the small one first. Mazda manual recommends you can use your old ones to actually help push that in, and I realized I didn't align this, so let me pull that out really quick. There is an alignment, you don't just throw it in there. So hold on, see, beginner mistakes. We all do it. Okay, so pull that bad boy out. Okay. So there are grooves in the bottom of this. There's one on each side, so kind of right where my fingers are. And we want one of those grooves to line up with the portion of the spring that's pointing upwards, okay? So we're gonna line this up. That way it kind of locks on. There we go, now it's nice and straight. And we're just gonna push that in. So I'll use my old one, a little bit of force. Kind of push it in nice and evenly. There we go. And it should be a little springy, right? So that's kind of the point of those oil control ring springs. It kind of gives some spring, and then the housings will actually kind of hold, or I should say the irons will actually hold this nice and compressed together. So we'll move on to the larger one. So I'm going to turn my rotor. Old one. We're going to stand up, give this a little force. I've got a rubber mat. There we go. Perfect. Put my old ones back here so I can use them when I do the rear side. Then we're going to take our top oil control, and we're going to go ahead and take our cutoff spring. So that's the top and biggest ring that we put on. There's no O-ring here, it's just a spring. And we're going to make sure we do this right, so I'm going to consult my book, my manual. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right. Front side oil control springs and rings and O-rings are all set. Here we go. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and flip and do the other side so that just those oil control rings and everything are all set. I won't talk through this one, we'll just kind of go through it. All right, we're back. I have all of the side seals clearanced for the front and back of the front rotor. So we're gonna go ahead and install all of those now. So I'll consult my manual and we'll kind of get this going. We're gonna do our side seal springs first. So if you remember what I said, the wings are gonna go up, okay? So we've got this one, just like so. This one is gonna go in there like that, nice and gently. And this one, wings up. Good. Now, we'll go ahead and put our side seals in. So we went ahead and clearanced these. It does say to put some petroleum jelly between the side seal and the side seal groove. So we're just gonna kind of put a little jelly on the sides of these, just to make it slide and lubricate, you know? Okay. Pop that first one in. Got a nice spring to it, that's good. Same thing with the second one. Nice spring. And the third one. Good bounce to that as well. Okay, kind of reposition all those so I got room to put my corner seals in. So we'll go ahead, take our corner seal spring. We're gonna drop that in all the corners. Just using my pick to align them to make sure that the groove for the apex seal lines up with the groove of the seal spring. Now we're gonna go ahead and put in the seals as well. I'm gonna put a little petroleum jelly on the bottom of them just to make sure that they stay in place. Okay, I don't want anything falling out on me. And where that paint dot goes up, those are nice and springy. Get the last one in. I think, whoops, little spring. Okay. Everything is in, nice and springy. I'm gonna put a little bit more petroleum jelly just on top of everything, just to make sure nothing flips out when I flip it over. Make sure all these corner seals are properly aligned with the apex seal grooves again. Can't double check that over and over and over again. So we'll just kind of coat that one in, coat that one in, and that one. And we're gonna flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. That's gonna stay put, okay? Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and put our springs in. Make sure I'm still aligned correctly. You wanna make sure you're putting the seals in the spots where you clearance them. This is actually very therapeutic. It's kind of like assembling adult Legos. I find it very relaxing. I'm sure some people find this very tedious, but I'm not some people. Wings are all up on those springs. Now we'll take our side seals. I feel like I'm saying seals and side seals and corner seals and seal springs so much that the words are starting to become meaningless to me. Okay, there's one. And this petroleum jelly everywhere is driving me nuts. After this one, I gotta take a short break and actually run to the SOS, which is sometimes called the BMV or the DMV, depending on what state you're in here in the States. And I actually have to transfer the plate over for our new Bronco that we got. So we'll get that going so that will be legal to drive. I got some time still, so we'll have plenty of time to finish this one. And then when I come back, we'll do the second one. Oops, I pulled out the spring. So we'll do the rear rotor and get that all packed. And then it's stacking the engine. That's the exciting part. Have that upside down. There you go. Perfect. All right. Corner seal springs. Get those down in there. Make sure they're all aligned correctly. Perfect. And, oops, I should do this in order so I don't mess it up. Sorry about that, camera cut out just as I was installing my last corner seal. Get that in, check, make sure everything's nice and springy. That feels good. Side seal have some room, but not too much wiggle room, so that's good. Just go ahead and kind of gob it up again so nothing comes loose. And again, all of this petroleum jelly is just going to burn off when we start the car up. So be some nice, fun white smoke. All right. And look at that. Everything stayed together. Perfect. Well, that's one. We'll be back and we'll do the second one.